Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than the world that seems to have gone full crazy. I'm your host, Arris. Very quickly, I want to remind you guys that I'll once again be hanging out at the Lost Toys in Dallas, Texas this Saturday, August 26th, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. So if you're in the area, be sure to come by and say hello. I'll have all the info and links for that in the description. Anyway, last month during their Hall H presentation at Comic-Con, DC and Warner Brothers revealed their full slate of upcoming films for the DCEU. And while it was largely uneventful overall, there were a couple of surprises, most notably being the announcements of Shazam as the next movie in their lineup after Aquaman in December 2018, and the Flash movie introducing the Flashpoint story. Speaking of Shazam, Ryan Connolly from our sister show Film Riot caught up with David Sandberg last week to talk about his latest horror release, Annabelle Creation, as well as the upcoming production for Shazam. Here's a little preview.
Now that you finished up Annabelle, you got another project set up,
yes.
Right? Shazam.
Yeah.
How did that one come about?
Kind of the same thing. So, I mean, New Line was very happy with how Annabelle turned out, and you know, I want to keep working with them, and they seem to want to keep working with me. So they called me up, and they were like, "Would you be interested in directing Shazam?" And I was like, yeah.
Among other things, they also touch on the Black Adam situation and how David is preparing to take on such an iconic character. So head over to the Film Riot channel after the episode to watch the full interview. We'll drop a link for that in the description. Now, another surprise for many of us from DC's Hall H presentation wasn't something they did reveal, but rather something they didn't, as many of us really thought they were gonna introduce Green Lantern and confirm his role in the Justice League. But if he does turn out to be in the movie, the next obvious question is, which Green Lantern will it be? Because he's been around since 1940, giving DC quite a few different versions of the character to choose from. So today we're gonna take a look at several of them and see what they might bring to the big screen. To be clear, we're only gonna be looking at different versions of Green Lantern from alternate Earths, so I won't be getting into other members of the Green Lantern Corps. We'll cover them in another episode at some point, but for now, let's do this dang thing. Let's kick this off with the Green Lantern from DC's main continuity, also known as Prime Earth. There have actually been several characters that take on this role, starting with the original Golden Age Lantern, Alan Scott. He first appeared in All-American Comics issue 16 in 1940. Alan was a young railroad engineer who came across a magical lantern containing the Starheart. The lantern protected him and saved his life when an explosion caused the train he was on to derail. And when he woke up in the wreckage, the lantern spoke to him and told him to forge a ring and touch it to its light. When he did, the ring filled with power, transforming him into Green Lantern, and has played a large role in the character's history, including roles in the Infinite Crisis and Brightest Day crossover events. Other characters that have taken on the mantle of Green Lantern in the main continuity include Guy Gardner, fan favorites John Stewart and Kyle Rayner, then there's Simon Baz, and most recently Jessica Cruz. But the most popular and well-known of the Prime Earth Green Lanterns is of course Hal Jordan. As successor to the powerful Green Lantern Abin Sur, Hal Jordan quickly mastered his power and rose to restore and lead the Green Lantern Corps. His almost unmatched willpower also makes him one of the most powerful beings to ever wield the Green Power Ring. All of these things combined also make him the character most likely to show up in the DCEU. But again, that's just Prime Earth. There's a long list of Green Lanterns from alternate universes, and while I won't be able to list them all, let's take a look at some of our favorites. First, we have Alan Scott Green Lantern from Earth 22, also known as Kingdom Come Green Lantern. In this universe, Alan had built and was living on a space station called New Oa after Superman retired. He did this in order to be in a better position to protect Earth from external threats. He also converted his lantern into a Starheart-empowered suit of armor, which makes him significantly more powerful than before. Not to mention, he has a similar look to Lex Luthor's Superman. Next up is Hal Jordan III from Earth 12. He's introduced in the 2008 Countdown Arena storyline and has taken up the mantle as Green Lantern from his grandfather. He was assigned to the Milky Way and at one point lost his left hand in a battle against Monarch. Then we have the Arcane Green Lantern, Sir Hal Jordan of Earth 13. The Arcane universe is a medieval world that centers around a cabal of evil sorcerers called the Shadow League. After the Shadow League performed a ritual that plunged the world into darkness, Harold's parents were murdered by creatures of the Black, and he was taken under the wing of the Emerald Knight, Alan Scott, and trained as a Knight of the Order. He ultimately becomes an incredibly powerful knight himself and battles the Shadow League using various mystical lantern-shaped artifacts. It's pretty awesome. Next on the list is Hal Jordan Green Lantern from Earth 30 in the Red Sun storyline. In this version, Hal is one of the most decorated fighter pilots in US military history, and a former POW who was handpicked by President Lex Luthor to lead the newly formed Green Lantern Marine Corps for the United States in the war against Soviet Superman. Superman Red Sun is one of the best DC stories ever written, and this version of Green Lantern plays a role in that. Next in line is Bat Lantern from Earth 32. After his first attempt at crime fighting fails miserably, a broken and beaten Bruce Wayne begs his dead father to show him how to strike fear into his enemies. At that moment, a ghostly figure appeared and led Bruce Wayne to a dying Abin-Sur, who gave him his green power ring, transforming him into Bat Lantern. He later goes on to battle Sinestro, and yes, it's as cool as it sounds. Then we have Green Lantern of Earth 9. This version of Green Lantern, introduced in Tangent Comics Green Lantern Issue 1, is an occult heroine whose origin is something of a mystery. But there are three main theories. The first being that she is Lois Lane after being murdered and resurrected by the power of the Lantern. The second being that she's the good sister who won the mystical power in the battle with her evil twin sister. And the third being that she's a Green Lantern powered Zatanna. Either way, she's a really interesting version, and I'm a sucker for the fantasy style they used. Next is Hal Stark, aka Iron Lantern from the Amalgam Universe, which, as the name suggests, is a mashup of Iron Man and Green Lantern. Introduced in Iron Lantern 1 in 1997, a dying Tony Stark uses the deceased Raman Sor's lantern to build a suit of armor in order to survive and escape the planet he had crash landed on. This gave him insane powers, combining all the best parts of Tony Stark Iron Man and Hal Jordan Green Lantern. It's redonkulous. A few other notable versions of Green Lantern are Hal Jordan, known as Power Ring from Earth 3, who is an evil and cowardly version of the character, and a member of the crime syndicate. Then there's Dragon Lord Zhong Li from New Earth. This Green Lantern was a monk who lived in ancient China around AD 660, and was the first to be given a Green Lantern power ring by the Guardians of the Universe. It's basically Ip Man meets Green Lantern, and it's amazing. Next is Hal Jordan Green Lantern from Injustice Gods Among Us. And one of the most shocking moments with this version of the character, Hal adopts Superman's thinking of rule through fear and accepts the yellow power ring. Another very cool alternate version is Night Lantern, which is a mashup of Hal Jordan and Dick Grayson, from a two-part storyline in Superman Batman issue 60 and 61. Then of course we have Cairo Green Lantern from the Batman Beyond universe. Most of us are familiar with him because of Batman Beyond, the animated series, or the awesome Kyle Higgins Batman Beyond comic. And finally we have Justice League 3000 Green Lantern, which is essentially a Spectre Green Lantern hybrid. Yeah, tell me that doesn't make your nipples tingle. Just a little bit. This version of the Ring Slinger actually doesn't have a green power ring, but as a living incarnation of the Emerald Energy, he instead uses a cloak to control and channel his power. He's a bit of a nod to when Spectre used Hal Jordan's body as a host in the 1999 Day of Judgment storyline. Anyway, I could go on listing the alternate versions of Green Lantern for quite a while. I wasn't kidding when I said there are a lot. These are just some of our favorites and many of the most popular versions. But what are your favorites? Head over to variantcomics.com and continue the conversation with us. As always, the link is in the description. I'm gonna shave his balloon while talking.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, that's good. Are you sick of choosing between overpriced razors and low-quality plastic disposables? Dollar Shave Club has your solution. Their razors provide high quality, close to the shave price for disposable. DollarShaveClub.com delivers amazing razors right to your front door for a fraction of the price that I used to pay. Just go to DollarShaveClub.com and pick a razor that works for you from their lineup of amazing blades. They're all just $1 for the first month, including free shipping. With Dollar Shave Club, you can look, smell, and shave like $1 million without paying it. So go discover why millions of members like me love Dollar Shave Club by getting your 1-month trial of any razor for just $1. Seriously, there's no catch or hidden fees, commitments, and you can cancel whenever the heck you want, and with free shipping. So go to DollarShaveClub.com/variant to get a 1-month membership of any razor for just $1. Get it shipped free to your house and find out what it's like to use a razor that's so good, it can shave a balloon. First up for Wednesday, August 23rd, we have Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider issue 6. With enemies bearing down on him from every side, Ben Reilly's running out of options and running out of time. Here we have Secret Empire issue 9. This is easily Marvel's biggest event of the summer. If you're a fan of Captain America, you really need to be reading this. Now we have Batgirl issue 14. Batgirl and Nightwing's feelings for each other have always run deep, but is their bond built on more than just Bat family loyalty and a long ago childhood crush? And finally, I saved the best one for last, Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps issue 27. Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner face off against God Killers and try to protect an injured Orion from certain death. And that'll do it, my comic conrads. As always, if you like what we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell next to it so you're notified whenever we upload a new episode. Also, head over to variantcomics.com for all the variant content your little heart can handle. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time when we talk about all things comics.